Welcome to O'Sullivan Guitar Works Studios, and today at OGW Studios we'll be talking about the Rown Noise Gate pedal. Today we're going to be talking about the Rown Noise Gate pedal. I picked mine up through Amazon and I paid $29.99 for it, and I think I actually got a discount on it, so it was even cheaper. I have seen them advertised on AliExpress for £6.11, which is pre-delivery, and I think AliExpress is quite notorious for having hidden charges and extremely long waiting times for deliveries. I've also seen it advertised on Wish for £24, which again, another website that's notorious for all the after putting in your basket fees that pop up. Now, if you'd like to look at different alternatives and different price ranges, you've got the Behringer NR300 noise reducer pedal at $20.99, and you've got things in the range of $29.94 to $29.99 to $30.99, and those are the K-Line CP39s, the TC Electronic Iron Curtain Noise Gate, and the Niwa Noise Killer Noise Gate pedal. Now, what's confusing about the Niwas, if you look at them, especially on Amazon, there are two types, and there's one that is green with purple graphics, and there is one that is white with black writing on it, and they basically are the same form and layout as the Rowin. I'm guessing probably made in the same factories, just named differently. And the next thing along would be the Electro Harmonix Silencer Noise Gate. Now, this one now features a effect loop. This is £55, and then there is one of the industry standards is the Boss NS2 noise suppressor pedal, again with a loop built into that as well. But obviously here at OGW Studios we are a big fan of looking at what we can do with a tight budget and how we can get the most out of our money. I stumbled across this pedal when looking at some tutorials and gear overviews on YouTube, specifically one by a channel called Eric Shreds. So looking at the product description on Amazon, it says it is a compact size noise reduction pedal in an aluminium alloy shell, and it's lightweight and very durable. A prominent feature on the pedal is a switch at the top marked hard and soft. Now, this is the amount it will clip when you are playing, and the hard obviously is for a very, very harsh cutting tone, and the soft lets you have a little bit of bleed for sort of held chords and notes you want to leave ringing for a little bit longer. It has one knob on the front, and that is the threshold knob, and that is a -70 dB all the way up to +10 dB. It's a true bypass pedal with one LED light on the front to tell you whether it is engaged or not. It runs off of 9-volt adapter. As you can see from the measurements, it's quite a small pedal, so it won't take up too much room on your board. And the pedal itself only weighs 260 grams, which again is extremely handy if you're adding it to an already full board. The pedal's power draw is 26 milliamps, so won't be too much of a burden on any split power supplies you have. I'm going to be trying to do something a little bit different in our test. For our first test, I'm going to be using my Ibanez RG73217 string, which has a Seymour Duncan Invader in the bridge, and that's a very, very hot pickup. For a high gain amp, it's going to get very, very noisy. The amp we'll be using is a solid state Marshall Valve State 80V. It is a fantastic high gain amp. It gets very, very, very noisy, very, very dirty, so it should be perfect for this test. For the second test, I'm going to be using a TC Electronic iMaster, which is essentially a Boss HM2 clone. It is the perfect pedal for oversaturation and for getting a huge distorted sound. I have used it myself on an EP I recorded for a solo project. So let's crack on with the test and see how it performs. So here we have the Rowan Noise Gate pedal on the board, and that's being powered by the Mosky Power Station Nano, which is one we spoke about in the last video. I'll be using it a lot for my tests because it came in really handy, and for a small board like this where I'm only just testing pedals, it's perfect for what I need. So we're going to test first the guitar sound and how much feedback we get in noise without the noise gate engaged. So what we're going to test now is the amp's natural feedback and natural sound before we engage the noise gate. As you can hear, there a lot of natural feedback coming from the amp. So now we are going to engage the noise gate and see what happens. There's a slight hiss from the amp still. I think that can't be helped due to maybe the amp's age, but so far same as before. Let's play and see what we come up with. noticeable feedback. Good ring on the note at the end there. Let's try and turn up the threshold and see what we come up with here. Again, no feedback. Let's try at 12 o'clock. We've got this still on the soft setting on the switch and 12 o'clock on the threshold, roughly 12 o'clock. We'll see how that sounds. That effect there is very noticeable. We could hear there clearly where it strangled down the sound a little bit, and that's actually not a bad amount of decay. That was actually quite nice. Now we're going to try turning the threshold up a little bit more. I'm going to turn it up now to minus 10 dB and see how this sounds. Turn the threshold now up to minus 10 and it's actually pretty much killing the signal completely, which is not a great setting, to be honest with you. I don't know if that's some sort of cabling fault. I don't think it is. There's no issues there, but that's the problem. It seems to be you can't really go above. This is full volume, full gain, and it's sort of killing the signal. Once you hit about 12 o'clock, anything above 12 o'clock seems to really choke the sound down to nothing. And we're going to try switching to the hard mode, and we're going to see how that affects it. I'll turn the threshold back down to start. Now we're in hard mode, and we shall see how it sounds. This is quite an old amp, so unfortunately I think that fizzing and buzzing sound is just indicative of the age. Yeah, it seems to have a similar effect as about 12 o'clock on the soft mode. Hard mode literally barely moving the threshold really choked the sound out. I'm going to try it at 12 o'clock and see how that affects it. It's not as natural, the decay, but still, if you like a sort of nicely choked down, a really biting, sort of almost genty sound, it might be useful for you. Let's try turning it up into the zone where it had problems with the soft setting. Same issue there, I'm not really getting any sound at all. As you hit the chord, it tries to push through, but the gate is, doing a very solid job of holding back the sound, but if you really want a tight sound, you've got to find a perfect place between 12 o'clock and sort of 3 o'clock to see where it matches your intentional sound. Now let's try test 2 with the iMaster and see if we can go for some more high gain and see how it handles that. So we're back in soft mode with the threshold down at minus 70, and we'll engage the noise gate, and then we'll engage the iMaster. Still a lot of noise there when just holding the strings down, letting go. Yeah, it's not quite holding it back there. We'll try and turn the threshold up. Same problem again, too much feedback, too much distortion. Now bear in mind I have the gain on the iMaster set off and the volume all the way up. Now if you do engage the gain a little bit more on the iMaster, that tends to happen. So now let's turn up the threshold on the noise gate. That's made a huge difference in just the ambient sound. Hasn't really helped when you let go of the strings at all. And now we'll turn the threshold up a little bit more. That's to about 2 o'clock. So I'm not holding the strings. Both hands are off the guitar. So yeah, I'm not getting any sound. I'm not getting any feedback. I'm actually very impressed with how that's handling all that gain. I've used this pedal a few times and it is absolutely fearsome. Now a true test will be if we turn the gain up on the iMaster and see how it handles that. This may not work. Now I've turned the gain up to 12 o'clock on the iMaster. That should be screaming right now, and as you can hear, it's not. So seems to falter there. It kind of holds it and then it kind of gave up. With the gain back down at around 0, we're pretty controlled, but once you engage that gain on the iMaster, yeah, it really struggles. We'll turn it up to about 3, which is probably the lowest amount you can go without it completely losing signal. Yeah, it starts to choke out the signal there. If we turn the gain up on the iMaster, two sound like they're fighting with each other. It's not a very nice sound, unfortunately. Right, turn the gain back down on the iMaster, and we will now try the hard mode on the noise gate. So now we have hard mode engaged, and we shall see how it handles it. I'm not controlling the feedback at all, not affecting the time. We'll go up to 3 o'clock. Again, we'll try it at 12 o'clock. So even in the hard mode, we're still getting the feedback, so I'm not sure. It's still in the hard mode there yet, again, still feedback. Try dialing it up a little bit more to around 2, and that is minus 20 dB. So my hands are not on the strings again of the guitar, I'm not touching anything on the guitar, and we're not getting any feedback at the very least. Let's see what a note decays like, or a chord decays like when we play it. So it's got quite a nice natural amount of decay there, a tiny bit of feedback at the end. And I think if you're using a pedal like the iMaster, you're going to welcome sounds like feedback. You're going to want sounds like that to come through, because that's what that pedal's kind of made for. Now, a true test will be in this minus 20 where we found a bit of a sweet spot. If we turn the gain up on the iMaster, what will happen? So we can only find out by trying. iMaster gains at 12, and it seems to be handling that pretty well. Probably a little bit too much gain there. I think the pedal couldn't even handle that. We'll try it now at -10, which is pretty much as high as you can go on the threshold before it cuts out. Yeah, it starts to choke down the sound completely there, so you'll get no real usable sound out of it on that setting. It seems that on the hard and the soft setting, -10 is just too much to really get a decent sound out of it. So after a few tests there, I think we have a conclusion now, and we'll head over to wrap it up and see what we think of the Rowan Noise Gate pedal. So this is a bit of a tricky conclusion on the Rowan Noise Gate. It's a good pedal for build quality and for size and for weight. It's definitely useful when it comes to a small board or a small setup. I certainly, if in the future I was using my Ironmaster pedal in a live project, I would definitely want to include something like this on a small compact board, especially if it was only for some small gigs and some small rehearsal spaces. If you are just getting into the world of pedals and trying out things like noise gates, this is probably a perfect pedal for you. It's inexpensive and it's very effective. Has its hiccups and little quirks, but I think if you give it the time to go through it and find sweet spots, you'll definitely enjoy using it. As far as usability, it's definitely not as intuitive as something like an MXR Smart Gate, and it's definitely not as effective as a Boss NS2 noise suppressor, and it is definitely not as effective as an ISP decimator, which, as we've said before earlier in the video, is one of the industry standards. Something I think is always important that we ascertain from these videos with cheaper products is, do you get your money's worth? And yes, I think you do. I think you definitely get more than your money's worth with this pedal. So all that's left to say about the Rowan Noise Gate pedals, if you think this video has shown that it's for you, go and check one out. You can definitely get them for a decent price. And leave a comment down below and let us know your experiences with them, and also let us know what you'd like to see us cover in the future. So we'll see you on the next OGW Studios gear overview. Take it easy and take care.